Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a foundation review and we are going to be looking at the new IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus Nude Glow Color Correcting Cream Medium Coverage Skin Tint Plus Brightening Glow Serum with an SPF 40. I have the shade Fair Beige and I want to share with you in the video how it compares to the classic IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus Cream and the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better Foundation Plus Skincare. Then after we do the application, I always like to go through, share with you all the specs, the shade range, and how it compares to some of the ones that are already existing in my collection that I love. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alrighty, to get started with this foundation application, I already have a sunscreen on and it's making me very, very pale. I'm gonna put on a primer so I can let it sit in for a moment while we talk about some of the other primers and sunscreens I've used this week. The primer I'm gonna be using today is an old favorite of mine. This is the Beauty Blender, the Leveler. This is in the shade 1, light medium. I am just gonna take a little bit of this through the center portion of my face where I'm prone to getting shiny, and I want to tone down the white cast on the sunscreen where I'm applying this primer on my cheeks. I'm doing more of like a press and drag motion, keeping my pressure very, very light. I can feel something with this sunscreen primer combination. It almost feels like my sunscreen isn't drying down. This sunscreen's been on for about 45 minutes. It should definitely be dried by now, but be careful just in case. In the camera, I don't look as pale as I normally do, but my neck, and you can kind of see from my hands, I'm a lot paler than normal because normally my hand is a lot lighter than my face. So while I've been testing out this foundation, I've been doing my final recap for one of my sunscreen videos going up in May. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and I like to break down my sunscreen videos into some different types of categories of sunscreen. So the first one is going to be my mineral or physical sunscreen. With this foundation, I have been testing out all mineral, so sunscreens that either have zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, or a combination of zinc and titanium. First one, Wore Like a Dream as always, was my Olay Regenerous Mineral SPF. I love this. I'm like running out of it. I need to pick up another bottle. It's such a good one. And this is one of the sunscreens that when I start running low on, I need it back in my life. I discovered it last year during the sunscreen testing video. I still love it. The next one I tested out through this period is the one that I spoke about in my Maybelline Fit Me foundation review. And this is the Monat Sunveil. This is the Daily Mineral High Protection Broad Spectrum SPF 30. This sunscreen, it is an all mineral filter. It leaves a little bit of a white cast, but it does dry down and it leaves a really beautiful satiny finish, slightly pore smoothing to the skin. When you are applying it, I always like to apply my sunscreens in 2 layers because generally with 1 layer, if you're applying the correct amount at 2 milligrams per square centimeter, you are going to have a lot of product to work with. So I like to break my application down into 2 layers. Makes it a little bit more manageable and you give yourself a few minutes in between. It allows things to blend easier. This sunscreen though, second layer is very tricky to apply. If you over manipulate, it's going to ball and pill. With this sunscreen, it did well, but I found it reduced my wear time about 3 hours. Next one, Wore Like a Dream. This is the Dr. G Mild Sun Up Sun Plus Cream SPF 50 plus PA 4 plus. This is a Korean sunscreen, really, really lovely. You don't need a primer with it. It leaves a little bit of a white cast, but I would say on a scale of 1 to 5, it's about a 1.5 to a 2 depending on your skin tone. If you were darker than me, I would say this is a solid 3 for the cast. So works well under makeup, it's easily covered, and it's very smoothing to skin texture. This was a favorite. Curel from the Japanese selection of Curel. This is the UV Protection Milk SPF 50 plus PA 3 plus. This does leave the skin feeling a little dry. It is quite a matte finish, but much like the one I used the following day, which is the Etude House Sun Prize Mild Airy Finish SPF 50 plus PA 3 plus. These are very, very similar once applied to the skin. The Etude has a little more of a white cast. Once again, if we're looking at a 1 out of 5, this is going to probably be about a 1.5. This would be about a 2. So a little bit more of a white cast, but both of these leave a very smooth, velvety finish on the skin. And where the CC cream I was testing this week is more of a luminous finish, these create a really beautiful satin finish on the skin. Really, really liked both of these. And the one I'm testing today is the Alumier MD Cleared Shield Broad Spectrum Spectrum SPF 42. This one, I have worn it several times and I don't get it. It's called Clear Shield. In the middle of summer when I've spent time like at the beach, I've been outside for a little bit and I get a tiny bit of color. I might be a Fitzpatrick 2, but most of the year I'm a Fitzpatrick 1. In most foundations, I fall in the fair to fair light range. And if I apply the correct amount of this, I get a white cast. So not my favorite. The classic IT Cosmetics CC cream, this has an all mineral SPF 50 plus, which is a titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. I've talked to my channel about some of the other shades I've tried out. Currently, I have the shade Fair Light, which is their fair with a cool undertone. For me, this shade is too dark and too pinky orange. The shade down light is too light, too yellow. I look kind of sickly and washed out. And then the shade light is way too dark. When I wear a fake tan, I can make shade light work for me. On the other hand, we have the new CC Nude Glow. This has an all chemical sunscreen filter. It includes homosalate, octocrylene, and octosalate. For this one, I picked up the shade Fair Beige. When looking at the color chart, this is listed as a shade down from the original shade Fair, but this one has a cool undertone, which when you looked at the model skin tones, this looked a little bit darker than the shade Fair. And from what I've seen from different reviews and some different videos, a lot of people were saying the shades in this formula that were also in this formula were quite similar. I went with Fair Beige, crossed my fingers, and hoped for the best. I like the shade. As far as the CC cream, they also have a matte version and an illuminating version. I've tried a sample of the illuminating version and it's just too illuminating for me. It really emphasized the way my pores look and it felt a little too kind of slippery on my skin. But if you're someone with a drier skin type, I feel like you might really enjoy that one. And then on the other hand, you had the oil-free matte version of the CC cream. I did purchase that back when it originally launched, and it's one of the very few products I ended up returning because it just felt very heavy. It felt very weighty and very apparent on my skin. The original CC cream, this is, they call it a medium coverage. I feel like it's a pretty full coverage foundation and it has a thicker, more whipped, creamy texture. It's gonna give you coverage, and if you work a small amount into the skin, it can look quite natural in a no makeup sense, but you are going to feel it on the skin, if that makes sense. And before the CC Nude Glow came out, IT Cosmetics came out with this little guy, which is the Your Skin But Better Foundation Plus Skincare. I believe I've talked about this on my channel. I have not done a dedicated review, which I'm planning to do one near here soon, but I picked this up online from Sephora when it launched, and I use it quite a bit off camera because it's a really beautiful skin-like formula. This is light to medium coverage. It has a natural finish. It's quite buildable. I have the shade Light Neutral 20.5. This is a neutral to cool with a muted base to it. For me, this is a really great skin match for unifying the different tones of my face, neck, chest, and body. Really love this. When comparing the shade of this to this one is a fraction lighter and it has a little bit more of a true cool undertone, where this is a little bit more muted. This has had time to set down. Let's apply some because I'm tired of looking at the white cast in the mirror. And I've used fingers, it works well. I've used a sponge, it worked well. I just like to stick to my BK Beauty number 101 because it's such a great brush and I can really spread out the product. I'm going to start in the center of my face, and you can see compared to the kind of brightened base that the sunscreen's given me, this is looking quite bright. As I spread it out, it's going to start meshing with the other tones in my skin. A big difference on initial application with the CC Nude Glow compared to the original CC cream. The Nude Glow doesn't have the same spreadability that the CC cream does, where the CC cream is a thicker, richer, more emollient texture. It has a lot of spreadability. You can really make a little bit of product spread very far on the face. That's a product where I normally use one pump to cover my entire face with the style of application that I enjoy. This formula, on the other hand, one pump is normally enough for me to do a thin layer on one half of my face, and then I'll go back and do a secondary pump for the other half of my face. And then sometimes, depending on the day that I've had or how my skin's feeling that day, I will use either a half a pump or another full pump to add coverage where I want it. I like to really press into the skin, focusing where I want it, and then I can kind of stipple and pull the product to where I want it. Much like IT Cosmetics products, this does have a scent. For me, the original IT Cosmetics CC cream, it has always had a smelt reminiscent to like a lemon meringue pie. And the CC Nude Glow, it has a similar lemony scent, but it's a lot more mild. It doesn't have the same kind of intensity. I have been wearing the IT Cosmetics CC cream for years. I believe I purchased for the first time in either 2013 or 2014. It was whenever IT Cosmetics launched at Ulta in my hometown, but I fell in love with it and it was my everyday complexion product for quite a long time. I'm avoiding my under eye area because with the IT Cosmetics CC creams, where they do have a fragrance to it, I find if I take it right up to my under eye area, I can get a little irritated after a few days of wear. So I generally like to be safe and sorry and just use a separate concealer. That being said, I have worn this as an under eye concealer and it's quite nice. While I apply my under eye concealer, that will let the CC cream warm up, melt into my skin, then I can see if I want to build it. For concealer this week, I have been testing out one that I've had in my collection for a little while because it was quite hyped up a year or so ago on YouTube, and it's one I purchased and I didn't fall in love with it like I thought I would. And that is the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer. I have shade 2. Now with this concealer, I remember when I purchased it, this was either the lightest shade or the second to lightest shade. It pulls quite yellow. So what I like to do with this formula is apply a few dots here in the inner corner of my eye and then 2 dots there. This concealer does dry quite quickly, so I only do one eye at a time. Using my BK Beauty A506, going to press that in right there where I want coverage and then the outer corner, and then I'm going to correct the residual on my eyelid. Where this does dry down, I find this does really, really well over the eyelid if you're someone who doesn't like to use a separate eyeshadow primer. It looks quite nice. It doesn't emphasize texture. It doesn't feel uncomfortable throughout the day. It's a very pleasant wear time experience. At some point, I would like to see if I can find a better shade match because this one, it is workable, but it doesn't have peachy pinkiness that I like concealers to have, because where I get a little blue in my inner corner, I don't always like to go super yellow because sometimes I feel the discolorations I have in the inner tear trough area of my eye, it can look a little green when I add on a yellow concealer, but when you think about color theory, you mix blue with yellow, you get green. So what I like to do to remedy that, I take the residual on my brush, use that to dilute. And then since I'm not directly applying the CC cream under my eyes, there's almost a barrier between the two now, I don't get the irritation that I could otherwise. Together, these two make a nice shade, but neither of them are quite perfect in the undertone. They both have a little bit more kind of clarity and saturation within the undertone of these two products. So I want to mute them out a little bit. Givenchy Prisme Libre powder. This is in the shade number 1 Mousseline Pastel. You have these 4 different quadrants. So there's like a pinky lavender color, there's a true purple, there's a green, and there's a blue. Each one of these will counteract one of the common color pigmentation concerns on the skin. I like to start anywhere where shine is a concern and then press out. Throughout wearing this foundation over the last 7 days now, I like this better than the original IT Cosmetics CC cream. I think this will always have a special place in my heart because it's a classic. It's a benchmark for so many people. I do enjoy the thinness of this new formula, but it's quite luminous, and even with something a little bit more mattifying, I feel like it can just make my skin texture look slightly more enhanced. I'm gonna finish off the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back to finish off this video. Well, a little bit warm. This makeup I'm wearing would have been the video that went up before this, which would be my seasonal color analysis makeup tutorial for the true or warm spring season. So if you're curious to see how I created this look, check out that video. Now we can kind of see how the IT Cosmetics Nude CC Glow looks with makeup applied on top of it. I really enjoy this. I like this better than the original IT Cosmetics CC cream. It kind of dethroned this from being my favorite CC cream. Hold on, is this smaller? They're both 32 mils. This is just a taller bottle. Let's get into the overview of this IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Nude. So here in Canada, this retails for $53. You get 32 mil of product, which breaks down to $1.60 66 per ml. This is available in 22 shades, which compared to the CC Cream Illumination and the oil-free matte version, that's almost double the shade. So not amazing, but better than these. IT Cosmetics is on the right track with coming out with more shades in this range. Through the application, I did touch on what I felt like were some big differences and key points within these two foundations. The overall thing I really picked up is the CC Cream Nude Glow compared to the original IT Cosmetics CC Cream. It is a thinner application. It's going to be more on a light medium finish, where the original CC Cream is going to be more of a medium to full coverage. That being said, the more occlusive nature of the original CC Cream lends itself to spreading out a little bit further. With the original CC Cream, I can make a full pump cover my entire face, whereas this one I kind of needed at minimum, like I did today, one pump for one half, one pump for the other half. This one has more of a luminosity to it compared to the original CC Cream, although if memory serves me correctly, it is not quite as luminous as the CC plus illumination. The texture for the CC Nude Glow is a lot more lightweight than the original. If you're someone who felt like this was too heavy, too occlusive feeling on the skin, I think you would really enjoy the thinner, lightweight texture of this one. This one has the zinc titanium dioxide filter, which makes this an all mineral or physical sunscreen, whereas the new IT Cosmetics CC Cream Nude Glow is an all chemical filter. So this has the inclusion of homosalate, octocrylene, and octisalate. Both formulas do have that kind of signature lemony fragrance, although the CC Nude Glow is a little less intense. I still can't remember if I started using the IT Cosmetics CC Cream in 2013 or 2014, but I've been using it for almost a decade. Almost. I've had lots of time to form my opinion, and I've already done a dedicated review on this. This was one of the very first videos I did when I started my YouTube channel. It's a nice product. I still like this product, but I don't love it like I did nearly 10 years ago. I really enjoy the CC Cream Nude Glow, but I still feel like it's good, but it's not good enough to knock some of my favorites out of my top range. For me, if you want something that is going to be more similar to the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, maybe you don't like as much glow to your skin as this or the original CC Cream gives you, but you like that buildable consistency, you like something that is just easy to wear, it looks like skin, it gives a decent amount of coverage, I would still suggest going with the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. This is going to be more of a natural matte finish compared to either the IT Cosmetics CC Cream formulas. It's a little bit more lightweight than either of those two, and it spreads a little bit further. This also has an SPF 30, which is a mix of chemical and physical. So this has octinoxate, titanium dioxide, and zinc oxide. If you want more of a slightly luminous finish, you want more of a lightweight feeling on the skin, and you don't mind spending a premium price, my favorite still has to be the #1, the Chanel foundation. I really love this foundation. I've noticed that a few of you have picked this up using my links, and I hope you love this foundation as much as I do. This has been a foundation that I really love. It's a reliable foundation. I can apply it with fingers, sponge, or brush. It gives my skin luminosity, but it never emphasizes my skin texture. It plays well with any primer or sunscreen I've used. It's really nice. But if you felt like the price point on the IT Cosmetics formula was a little steep, the Chanel, being Chanel, a luxury couture makeup line, this is even more expensive, coming in at $94 for a bottle, so nearly double the price of the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. And this one you also get 30 ml, so you get 2 ml fewer product than the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. For a good foundation, I'm willing to pay it, and I really like it. The shade is a great shade match for me. And I did mention that I was retesting the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer. It doesn't crease or smudge, but if I compare this something to like my kind of holy grail concealer, which is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, or the one I'm really loving right now, NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer, I would take either of these two drugstore formulas over the Armani. If I can get something at a lower price that performs just as well, if not better, I will always choose the more affordable. If something is going to have a luxury price tag, whether it is my makeup, my bag, my jewelry, or a car, it needs to work and it needs to impress me for what it's doing. If you're gonna have a price tag like this with a name like this and you're just going to be okay, it's not gonna pry me away from something that I like that's more affordable, because long term, this is a better value for my wallet. The Maybelline and the NYX concealer, right through here, right under the eyes, a lot of people have a little bit of texture. It's normal. It's been on about 85% of people I've worked on over my 10 plus years now of being a makeup artist. It's very normal. Despite it being normal and present on many people, I like to minimize the appearance, and this just, it's still there when I see it. It doesn't emphasize it, it doesn't smooth it, it's just as it is if I don't have concealer on. So for me right now, it's a nice concealer, but it's not like a run out and grab it product. I really like this. It's not a holy grail, but it's a great everyday foundation. I'll probably repurchase it even though it's not a holy grail. I love my Chanel foundation, and even though I love it, it's not going to be my everyday foundation, because if you use a foundation every single day, you're gonna go through it fairly quickly. And for me, $94 is just a little too much to use on an everyday basis. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have tried this CC cream or any of the other IT Cosmetics CC creams, or heck, any of the foundations I mentioned today, let me know your thoughts, feelings, opinions. Let me know all of that in the description box down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend that you think might enjoy it. Until the next video, I hope you all are doing well wherever it is you are in the rest of the world, and I will see you all later. Bye y'all.